What is going on, guys? Today we're going to take a look at how to use basic music theory to make better sounding drill chord progressions. So all I got here right now is a Keyzone Classic. It's a free version of Keyzone. I highly recommend getting it. It's definitely worth it. And we're going to be using this to model some chord progressions. So let's hop into the piano roll real quick. The first thing that we're going to want to do is we're going to want to choose a key to work in, right? A key tells you what notes will work, what notes you can play that won't sound, weird or wrong or bad. So you can select a key by going up here to the stamp and you scroll down to the melodic scales part and you got to click on one of these. You probably won't be able to see this because of OBS just not picking it up for whatever reason, but what you're going to want to do is scroll down to minor natural, because that's what we're going to be using in this video. Obviously you can use other scales, but this is just the one that I'm going to be using just for simplicity's sake. Now that we selected the minor scale, what we want to do is we want to pick a note, I don't know, maybe B, and you can click in the scale. So now what you want to do, now that you got that in, you want to turn the velocity down, and let's move this over to the snare. And that way we can have it in the background and use it, but it won't block when we start playing in notes. And if you really want to, you can make copies of it and put an octave up and an octave down. So that way you don't need to guess and check, just working with the one octave. So I'm going to put in 3 octaves here. I'm going to move back to Keyzone. So as you can see, these are all the notes that we can use. And this will allow us to form quite a few chords, right? We can form our B minor chord, which is B, D, and F sharp. I'll move that up an octave so you guys can see it better. And then we can also form our E minor chord because we got E, G, and B. And then we can also form our F sharp minor chord because we got F sharp, A, and C sharp. And so that sounds like this. Let's just work with those 3 chords right now and see if we can create a cool sounding melody. So I'm going to move down an octave and I'm going to just start with your standard B minor chord. And I just make sure to turn the velocity back up. So let's do that. And then we can work with those other 2 chords, that F sharp minor and that E minor. So let's go to E minor next. Alright, so let's take a listen to this. Alright, that sounds in key and it's sounding good so far, but that E chord sounds a little higher than that B chord. So what I'm going to do is called an inversion, and that is just, in simple terms, rearranging the notes of the chord so they stay the same, but you move them around to different octaves. So if I move this B down an octave by highlighting it and the control down arrow, this is still an E minor chord. It's just an inversion of that. It's like you play the notes in a different order. So now it sounds like this. We got those 2 chords in. They're sounding good. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to play in an F sharp minor chord. And remember, as I said before, that's going to be F sharp, C sharp, and A. So to round things off, I'm just going to copy and paste this E minor chord at the end. So we're left with something that sounds like this. Alright, so that sounded pretty good so far. It's still very, very basic. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move into pattern 2, right? And I'm going to go copy the scale and bring it into pattern 2, because I want to demonstrate that you don't need to always start on that B minor chord if you want to work in that scale. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to start on the F sharp chord here. We can do inversions revolving around this position on the keyboard here. So let's go to B next. And then we can go up to E, We are still staying in the key, just following the stamps here. Alright, so I've arranged these chords here, but I want to spice it up at the end, you know, make it a little different. And how I can do that is we can move the third down a half step, and that'll give it a more unique sound. But you may be wondering, what does all that mean in terms of music theory? I'm going to break that down before I really jump into actually doing it. Okay, so I got the E minor chord formed right here, and this is in the root position. And all the root position means is it means that E is on the bottom. And for example, the root position of C, you have C on the bottom. It means that the note that the chord is named after is the bottom note when you're playing it. So we put it in the root position, and we got G and we got B. So I said we're gonna move the third down a half step, right? So we need to dissect what that means. And first, we're gonna identify what the third is. It's actually pretty simple to wrap your head around. So you can start at the 1, right? So this is the 1, the root note, 1 in the chord, right? And then we're just gonna count up through the scale. So this is gonna be 2, and this is 3. So this is our third. So now that we identified the third, we gotta identify what a half step is. To identify a half step, let's first identify what a step means, right? So a step on the keyboard is, for example, let's say I start on F, right? And I wanna move up a step. So a step is you move up 1, 2, you move up to the next white key. Or for example, if I'm on F sharp and I wanna move down a step, I'm gonna go 1, 2, and, you know, I've still moved down a step. But a half step is naturally half of a step. So I'm only going to be moving down or up 1. So I just want a half step down, another half step down, another half step down. So in order to move the third down a half step, all I'm going to be doing is taking this G and putting it down to F sharp. So let's go back and let's do that with the chord progression we're actually working on here. We're going to move this down a half step, and boom, we got the third move down a half step. So let's listen to, you know, I've done a ton of explaining about this. Let's listen to how it sounds. So yeah, that definitely gives it a more different vibe than just returning to like a chord we already used or something like that. Alright, so I'm going to make one final chord progression before I leave you guys today. And what I want to do is I want to actually start on the 4th. And that's going to be 2, 3, 4. That's going to be E minor, right? So let's just play an inversion like that. And now we can move up to something like B minor. So we're going 4 to 1. So now let's go to an F sharp chord. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to clone this chord at the end here. So we got something that sounds like this in the end. So that sounds really dark and really sad, which is perfect for like a drill kind of vibe. So this was a basic look on how to use music theory when making chord progressions for drill. So if you guys enjoyed the video or learned something, feel free to go down and leave a like and drop a comment, you know, giving me some feedback or letting me know what you want me to cover next. And if you want me to do more music theory videos, you know, I'm not no music theory genius here, but I can definitely, you know, help you guys out who may not understand a lot of those more basic concepts. Another thing before I go is that I was just checking my YouTube analytics, right? And only around 9 to 10% of the people who watch my videos are actually subscribed. So go down right now, hit that subscribe button, and ring the bell so you guys can be notified of when I upload next. And also, I just created a new second channel. It's called DJ Eric Kuhl Beats, and what I'm going to be doing there is I'm going to just be uploading beats. It's kind of in the name. I don't know why I felt the need to explain that. But if you guys want to, you know, hear some drill beats or you want to get some inspiration, definitely go check it out. The link's going to be in the description. I should have one beat up there at the time of uploading this video. Stay tuned for more on that channel as well. And yeah, that's it for me today, guys. I'll see you guys later.